Pookie's here. Okay, we're officially live. This is the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts back for another earnings stream. Give it a few moments here for the socials to fill up. Streaming on X and YouTube mainly. We'll go 5-minute chart here on Cisco. DLO, I'll go 5-minute chart. Good to see you, Farouk, over here in the Discord. All right, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. So people piling into the stream from X, a little bit on YouTube. So just go over a couple things real quick. So Cisco is reporting earnings. Definitely interested in seeing what their reaction is. They're supposed to report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. About another 4 minutes. Forecast EPS 0.98. Forecast revenue 14.7 billion. They're trading above their anchored VWAP. Their anchored VWAP just below 70 a share. So they closed the regular session at $73.99. Okay. So we'll get their data at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. DLocal, looks like DLocal, DLO. They also report at 4:05. So we'll get both these earnings data on both these companies right at the same time. Forecast EPS 0.16, forecast revenue 269 million. They were trading right on their anchor, well, a little bit above. It's printed a green candle today, but their anchored VWAP just above $14 a share. DLO closed the regular session at $14.85. We got about 3 more minutes before the data drops. Porterhouse in the house on X. Blue Brains, my buddy Blue Brains. We always hang out during these earnings streams. Hope you're doing good. Hope everyone's week is going well. It's Wednesday. We made it to the halfway point. No, there's been a bit of volatility in the markets. Let me delete these lines real quick. This is SPY and QQQ. Their price action from today. Obviously downtrended the first part of the day during the regular session. Looked like it wanted to reverse. Started trending back up. Price above the EMAs here on SPY. And price broke down. Kept getting rejected around the 683.80s. And came up, kind of double top rejection there. So here we are in after hours, $683.41 for SPY. Triple Q's was kind of similar price action, of course. DLO Q3, Jacob on X. DLO's earnings looks like they're out now. Look at the volatility going on the chart right now. I got it on the right side of my screen. They actually, the data's, the information I had is they report at 4:05, but it looks like it got released a little bit early. So this is for Jacob on X. I'll get EPS, the revenue, any guidance, any other information I can find, maybe some commentary from the CEO or CFO. We'll find out what's going on with them. Their actual earnings web call might be in about an hour. So you're probably right about that. Probably around 5 o'clock Eastern. It's about 4:05 now. But I'll find that out for you. And I'll even get the link so you can join the web call if you want. So we got some people here for DLO and Blue Brains. Yeah, we'll check Serve Robotics. Absolutely. They're another one that was reporting today. Let's go to the list here. Let's see how quick this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, right here. Serve Robotics. They report at 4:45. So we got about 40 more minutes before they report. Forecast EPS negative 0.37. Their anchored VWAP probably around $14 a share, around there. But yeah, 4:45 for them. So we won't know anything on them for a little bit here. Let me go back to the sticks. Look at DLO getting a negative reaction. DLO's down 13%. They closed the regular session at $14.85. They were up 2.2% today. But let me see if I can get the data. DLO reacted a little bit earlier than when we thought they were reporting. Look at Cisco getting a bullish move here. Let's see if it holds up. Their data must have just dropped just now. But let me go over to DLO here. And again, forecast for DLO for revenue was 262 million. So we'll see what they ended up reporting. EPS was 0.16 for DLO for the forecast. I'm still trying to get the data here. Give me 1 second. Maybe that was just like pre-earnings jitters when it kind of sold off right there. Let me see if I got their EPS revenue and anything else. All right. Let me look at a few more things. I'm going to go to DLO's investor relations page. So I'm not seeing any data anywhere else yet. And then we're going to look at Cisco. Cisco's green right now. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look at Cisco just for a second. I know a lot of people are here for Cisco. Okay, Cisco looks green across the board. Let me talk about this first, I guess. We'll come back to DLO in a second, but DLO's getting a negative reaction right now, down 11% in after hours, about $1.65 a share. But here's a nice little graphic from the earnings correspondent. They beat EPS just by a little bit, and they beat revenue just by a little bit. So small beat, nonetheless, double beat. Year over year, quarter over quarter numbers, green across the board. So just at first glance, it's looking good for Cisco so far. Let me see what else I can find. Usually I can find some commentary from the CEO and CFO. Usually they release a few statements before they actually do the earnings call. And again, we'll find out when their call is as well. So double beat by Cisco. It's looking like a grats to the Cisco bulls. It's not up a ton. It was up a little over 3% today. A nice uptrend today is the 5-minute chart. And now it's up almost 4% in after hours. So solid moves today by Cisco. People on Xer said, "Save me, Cisco." All right, let me check a few other things here. Just scroll down. Okay, so fiscal year revenue for Cisco, 60.2 billion to 61 billion. The estimate was 59 to 60, so they raised the remainder of the fiscal year revenue a little bit. Yeah, what's up, Kramer on X says, live on CNBC. They're talking Cisco right now. Let me pull that up and see if maybe we can just share a little snippet of what they're saying. Give me 1 second. Appreciate the heads up, Kramer. Let me go to CNBC and see if they're talking right now. Okay, let's take a look. Live. I don't see anything live. I'm looking on their YouTube page, so maybe you're talking about on TV, but that's okay. That's okay. Go here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything live on their YouTube, so they're just airing on TV, so I can't share that, but that's okay. That's okay. Cisco pulling back a little bit right now. It looks like it tapped $78. Now it's sitting here around 76.50. Let me see how much it's retraced. Let me just put this here to here. Okay, so it's pulled back a little bit. It's pulled back to like 38% retrace. You see it lines up pretty good with this fib. That's right around $76.50 a share is what I'll call that. A little bit more buying coming in right now, printing a green candle. Let's look at the daily chart and see where the resistance levels are on this thing. Let me get rid of this fib. There we go. All right. Well, Cisco. So Cisco's around, I guess it's not all-time highs. Their all-time high is in the 80s back here. This was like 25 years ago, though. 25 years ago, they were trading in the 80s. Wow, look at that. What a dip buy that would have been back then. Wowzers. All right. Well, I mean, it's a 25-year-old level, but it's the low 80s, 80, 81, 82 bucks. That's the resistance. 25 years is a long time, but who knows? We'll see if that level holds up as a technical analysis level as far as resistance goes. But other than that, there's really no previous price action that's recent to determine any levels of interest on the top of the price here. So I'm just going to go with 82 bucks. That's what the weekly chart says on TradingView. That's the high here. So $82. I suppose there could be. Well, I mean, it's already in the it's trading in the post market right now at $76.75. I was going to say there was a little bit of resistance from last week's weekly candle around 75 bucks, but it's already broken that. You can see this. I don't know if everyone can see that. It's a blue line up here. That's the post market price that TradingView is showing me right now, trading just below 77 bucks a share. So yeah, resistance level number one, take profit level number one, a level of supply, if you will, a level where maybe there's some sellers up there sitting. It's going to be the low 80s. So we'll see if it can maybe continue trending up in that direction. But right now it's trading just above 77 bucks. Let me go back intraday candles here. Okay, Kremer. Yeah, you just confirmed. Yeah, it's on live TV. Yeah, I was checking the YouTube. A lot of times CNBC will stream it on their YouTube, but I guess they're not doing that right now. But no worries. Matter of fact, let's find out when their earnings web call is. I'm assuming CNBC is just doing an analysis on the company. But let's find out when they're actually doing their earnings web call. I'll go straight to Cisco's website to find that out. DLO still hanging out down here, down a little under 10%. But Cisco, the winner right now is Cisco out of these two. Let's take a look when Cisco's earnings web call is. And also want to post EPS and revenue on the bottom of my screen. Give me 1 second. I'll post that. Also for Cisco, their networking revenue, $7.8 billion. That's up 15% year over year. That's pretty solid. And I do have a little bit of guidance on Cisco that I'll share with everybody. Let me put this. There's EPS and revenue on the bottom of my screen. Wow, I just looked over. There's almost 3,000 people tuning in right now. Good to see everyone. Seeing some familiar names. Got a nice little cozy group in the Discord over here. Shout out to Baron, Fire Eyes, June, the beautiful Nikki, Rollins in the house, Snowflakes over here, Unknown Aces, Porterhouse, Pookie. Shout out to my Discord people tuning in. But almost 3,000 people tuning in. I'm sure it's the bulk of it's from X. We got a pretty big X presence. But welcome everybody. So Cisco. Let's I got the EPS revenue posted. It was a double beat, and oops, wrong screen here. Let me minimize that. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, I wanted to talk about the guidance. Okay, so fiscal year 26 guidance. They are the estimate for the guidance for next year was 59.5 billion. They increased it to 60.6 billion. So what's that? Like a $1.1 billion increase on their guidance. So that has a lot to do with the positive reaction and why investors are taking this very positively. And they also increased the guidance for the EPS. The guidance for the EPS the estimate was $4.03. They just reported $4.11 for the new guidance. So basically just a quick summary for everyone joining the stream for Cisco. Double beat, They beat EPS and revenue, and they raised guidance for EPS and revenue. So that's like a 4 positive things there. You know, they beat EPS forecast, they beat revenue forecast, and they raised the guidance on the EPS and revenue fronts. All right, so that's a great recipe for positive reaction, and that's what we're seeing now. Now, overall, Cisco is known to, it doesn't really make big dramatic moves. For my Cisco investors and traders out there, you probably know that pretty well. It's relatively a stable stock. I mean, I know there's been overall volatility in the markets, you know, especially back here from February to April of this year, where most stocks had a nice little correction. But, you know, it trended up from there, regaining ground, and traded sideways in a pretty tight range from July to October. So July, August, September, October, for 4 months. I mean, with exception to when it kind of popped up here into the 70s. But, you know, for 4 straight months, I mean, it basically was trading like in a $3 range. That's what I mean by it's not really a big mover a lot of times. But with volatility just overall in the markets, you can see some big price swings in this sometimes. But where's it at in the post market now? Let me move this down a little bit. There we go. So it's trading above $77 now. So remember, the low 80s is an area of interest. However, that's based on price action from 25 years ago. So I don't know how much weight you want to put on it because it's been so long since the price was in the 80s. And you know, that's you know, back to the weekly chart, that is their all-time highs back from 25 years ago, from 2000. Geez, that's when I was in the Navy. Anyways, so low 80s, you know, if you're going to put any weight on this price action from way back here, that's really all the price action, historical price action we have to go off of as far as levels above the price. So it is what it is, but nice positive reaction. They're still holding up. This is the 1 minute chart. Suppose I'm going to put this fib back on here. I'm going to draw it from 78 down to the bottom of this green candle here. $77 a share. That's 25% retrace. We'd love for that level to hold. It's kind of starting to make higher lows. This is a 1 minute chart, so candles can be a little flaky down here, but I'm going to say support levels, $76.50. It's kind of where it was bouncing from when it pulled back a little bit after the initial positive reaction. So not financial advice, but if you're trying to trade this in after hours with limit orders and trying to trade the shares for the bulls, I don't really like it below 76.50. The golden fib around 75.50. Would be my next support down. That would be my risk on it. I don't like it below there. Absolutely need to hold this golden ratio for the bulls. So, but again, the upside, it's kind of a question mark because the last time it was in the $80 range, it was 25 years ago. So upside, you know, just, you know, figure out what kind of percentage return you would be happy with for the amount of time you've spent on the trade. If you're trying to trade this right now, and you know, you just got to make a decision for yourself and try not to be greedy. But I definitely don't like it below 75.50. That would be the main support, which after the initial positive move, it hasn't even been threatened. It hasn't came back down and threatened that yet. The only level that's been threatened is 76.50 area. And look, it's looking like it's making another run towards after hours high. So again, just positive data across the board for Cisco. They beat EPS forecasts, they beat revenue forecasts, and they raised guidance on EPS and revenue. So investors are just having a field day and they're loving it. Got some buyers piling into the trade right now. So look at this. After hours high, $78 a share, almost to the penny. That's what TradingView is showing me. So yeah, let's see if there's more sellers up there waiting, or is it going to break through there and head to the lower 80s, which was that level from 25 years ago? That's crazy. It's so long ago, you know. All right. I got people emailing me. I'll get back to them later. DLO, still not really much going on with DLO outside of the negative reaction they're having. I mean, I suppose it's trying to come back up a little bit, but it's working on a red 5-minute candle right now in after hours. That's not what the bulls want to see. So we looked at some levels on Cisco, and oh yeah, I wanted to share and let everyone know what time their investor earnings web call is. So this is Cisco's investor relations page. And matter of fact, let me post this in the comments for everybody. Maybe it'll save y'all some time. I'll post it on the bottom of my screen too. I'll leave it up there for a few minutes. Let everyone, whoever wants to attend Cisco's earnings web call, that's the link right there. So screenshot that, and that'll take you there. When you get there, right on the home page of their investor relations page, just scroll down to news and events, and you'll see the two things you're looking for. You can click on the press release and take a deeper dive. Looks like it's a 15-page PDF document. So you can take a deeper dive into their earnings if you want. But we've got a good idea of what the data kind of summary is. And we've already went over that with the double beat and the raising of the guidance. That's pretty solid info just in general. But again, there's a 15-page PDF document if you want to go through each line item and see what different expenses were for research and development. What were the expenses for sales and marketing, general and administrative, total operating expenses, and then you can look at income and net income. Obviously, Cisco is a positive net income profitable company. So anyways, that's the 15-page document you can get by go into that link on the bottom of my screen. And also, let me click this webcast and we'll find out what time their earnings web call is. And Cisco's earnings web call is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's in 8 more minutes. I'm personally not going to stream that because I want to go over DLO a little bit and then maybe share some of the open trades I have open right now. So I'm not going to personally stream it, but we know what time the call is. It's at 4:30 Eastern, and I got the link on my screen to save everyone time. If you want to go watch it, you can just go to that link and you'll get right there. So that's kind of sums it up with Cisco as far as, they have a positive reaction. Why did they get a positive reaction? And we went over all that. We know when their earnings web call is with the upper management, and we know how to get there. So good stuff on Cisco. Investors are loving the earnings data, and the price action is definitely reflecting that. And again, level of interest on the top side, somewhere in the low 80s, like 81, 82 bucks, around there. That's where I'd be looking to possibly take profit, if I was the one trading this in after hours. And look, it's making a run to the after hours high right now, which is 78 a share. It's trading just below that. Let's see if we get a little break and it makes another leg up. Great job. Congrats to the Cisco Bulls. Cisco did a great job. All right, let me check. Let me post that link in the Discord as well. Okay, so for my Discord people, that's how you're going to get to the earnings web call for Cisco. Starts in about 6 minutes. And then I'll post the EPS and revenue in the Discord as well. Can't forget about my Discord family. There we go. That's for y'all. Okay, let's move on a little bit. I want to go over DLO, find out why they got a negative reaction. Obviously, that's the funny thing. DLO's earnings don't look bad, I have to say. So I'm not quite sure why it's kind of selling off right now, but just at first glance, they also double beat. And their year over year and quarter over quarter numbers are green. So obviously it's a little something deeper within the data on why this is people are selling this off right now a little bit. It's down 7.4%. So let me see if I can find any red flags here. So again, for DLO, revenue came in at 282 million. The forecast was 262 million. So they beat revenue by 20 million, roughly. Let's see, for the EPS, estimate was 0.16, and they reported points. I'm getting mixed data here, either 0.17 or 0.18, but it looks like it's a beat. TPV up 59% year over year, accelerating from 53%. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, positive info, but where's the red flags at? I'm gonna have to look into this a little further. So I know there's something up with this because it's, you know, there's no buying going on right now. Okay, for DLO, little side note, profit was held up by FX gains, while gross margins slid to 37%. All right, so their margins went down. That's got to be it, or at least it's contributing to why it's red in after hours. So looks like gross margins went down for DLO, and the bulk of their profit was held up by FX gains. I don't know if that's a good thing, you know, the most of your profit being held up by just like that one source, right? And with the gross margins sliding down to 37%, that's why it got an initial negative reaction. It is working on a green 5-minute candle right now. I guess we could go to the 1 minute and look at Cisco. Just made a new after hours high. I'm gonna move my fib up a little bit. There we go. All right. Yeah, so that's what's up with DLO. I'm glad I was able to find that out. So margins were down slightly due to regional mix, especially pressure in Argentina is what I'm seeing. So a little bit of kind of like a on the line items for DLO, most of it's green, and then you got that one that's red, and just kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. They did reiterate the guidance, so it looks like there's no change in guidance. They kind of reconfirmed it of what it was. So that's the deal with DLO. Their margins went down, and margins is a big deal. You know, the higher the margin percent, the better. And their margin went down, so investors aren't liking that. But a couple, maybe some silver lining for DLO. The EPS year over year is up 89%. The revenue year over year is up 52%. On a shorter term looking view, quarter over quarter, DLO's EPS is up 21% and revenue up 10%. So there's definitely growth there, but they weren't able to improve their margins, and in fact their margins went down. So that's, I think, what the hesitancy is here with not a lot of buying going on. It looks like there may be a little bit of dip buying going on here when it came down to 13 bucks. I mean, that's almost, you know, that's almost $2 a share less than where it closed the regular session. So maybe some investors or traders are considering this a little bit of a discount, and they're buying the dip a little bit, but it has not retraced back up. Technically still red in after hours. Let me go 1 minute chart and also it's, I mean, I guess the volume's okay. The average volume on DLO is about 2.3 million. They had 5.8 million today, so volume was okay. I'm gonna draw a fib on this. I'm not gonna use this top candle up here because that wasn't really the real reaction, was it? I just go from like right there, and yeah, they've retraced maybe about half of the selling from up here. So I suppose they're making a concerted effort to retrace, and maybe there's a few dip buyers here. Look at Cisco, new after hours high, $78.41. Actually, the after hours high is $78.44. Dvorak on YouTube passes out popcorn. Let's go. Cisco's looking good, making new after hours high left and right. It's looking great. And again, for people joining the stream late, we already pulled up the weekly chart and the daily chart and the bigger time frames. Level of interest is the low 80s. I was calling it around 81, 82 bucks. Not financial advice, but if I was trading it, that would be a level maybe I would consider taking some profit, or just kind of watch it like a hawk when the price approaches 81, 82 bucks and see if there's any rejection. Maybe with a little patience, you can see if it breaks through or not. But if it does reject, it would be a solid level for some profit taking, I think. Again, that level 81, 82 bucks, that's a level from 25 years ago. So again, I don't know how much weight you would put on that because it's been that long, as opposed to more recent price action, maybe earlier this year. We could put a little more weight on that, based on, volume that's come in throughout this year. That would give us a good idea, but there's just no recent price action. Dvorak says, good luck on your trades. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, and Cisco's earnings web call just started like 1 minute ago. So that link's on the bottom of my screen. I'm not going to personally stream that, but I did get the info for everyone. If y'all want to jump over there, you're not going to offend me. I love everyone, okay? So DLO, negative reaction because their margins came in worse, or basically their margins went down when margins should be going up. Other than their margin issue, their earnings were good. But just that one little issue with the margin is why it's got a negative reaction. It does seem to have found a bottom around 13 bucks. DLO's trading in after hours right now around 13.75. Let's go bigger time frame on. Wow, Cisco, there's just buyers piling into this trade right now. Cisco made another new after hours high. So let me look at, let me take this fib off DLO real quick because it's kind of just pancaked and flattened out here, down here in the red, down a little over 7%. But just want to look at the bigger time frame on DLO. Yeah, I'm just kind of, and it's funny, that $13 sure did hold up as support, didn't it? These are daily candles. So, if I go back intraday here, look where it bottomed out right now, when it just had this negative. Initial reaction was positive, but that wasn't the real reaction. The real reaction was negative because they got margin issues. But you could see it bounced off around 13 bucks. What a coincidence when you pull up the bigger time frame. Look at where it bounced about a week ago. 13 bucks. So these levels do mean something. When you start seeing green candles printing, bouncing off of a level, that's a demand level. It's important to keep those levels in mind. So support level number 1 for DLO, 13 bucks. Pretty easy, right? Try not to overcomplicate this with a ton of indicators. I just use price action, RSI, and I do like using the volume profile, which I have it hidden right now, but I got a neat little volume profile set up with TradingView. Tells you the selling volume and the buying volume right there, but it does give you some pretty solid levels. Wait for it to adjust. You can see the $13 level. Look at the volume profile. We got a volume node, if you will, volume shelf sticking out like a sore thumb right around 13. And sure enough, that's where it bounced a week ago, and that's where it bounced just now in after hours. All right, so go back intraday. Turn off this volume profile. I don't really need the volume profile right now. And I do I don't use a lot of indicators. I use volume. I use price action. I do use EMAs. I like the 9 and the 21 EMA. And of course, on the bigger time frames, you should always keep your eye on the 200 simple moving average, not the EMA. I mean, I guess they're both probably pretty close, but regular moving average on the daily chart, the 200 day is a solid one to look at. But other than that, I use the 9 and the 21 EMA on the smaller time frames. The EMAs just react a little quicker to price action than the regular moving averages. That's why I use the regular moving average on the big time frame. Going off of daily candles there. Smaller time frames, EMA's the ticket. I love it. I've been trading that way for years. And then, of course, RSI, I already mentioned that, just to show you, it's an indicator to show strength or weakness. Or oversold or overbought conditions, right? You can use that to trade as well. But just be careful using overbought and oversold levels because, on the RSI, because sometimes stocks can stay oversold for months, and then they finally get back above the 30 level on the RSI, which is a good indicator once that happens. So just because a stock, like if you're a bull by nature in underlying stock price, you're looking at the RSI, and let's just say like maybe the daily chart, and the RSI falls below 30, right? Which would mean it's technically in a oversold condition, basically. Just because it falls below 30, that doesn't mean buy everything up and back the truck up. I personally will sacrifice a little bit of the reversal, which means I like to wait for the RSI. Once it dips below 30, now I'll keep a closer eye on it. And then when it finally reclaims RSI 30, that could be a good signal. Hey, the bottom's probably in and we can start going back up now. So it just takes a little patience, But anyways, we got the results for Cisco. We got the results for DLO. And again, DLO's earnings weren't bad as far as the other data goes. They got great growth. They beat EPS. They beat revenue. The problem with DLO was their margins went down, and investors don't like that at all. So that's why it's kind of sitting down here. It's red 7.5% right now, down a little over $1 a share. Cisco, beautiful across the board. Double beat. They raised guidance, EPS and revenue guidance, and they beat EPS and revenue. And investors are just loving it. Their earnings web call is actually going on right now. Let's find out when DLO's earnings web call is. I'll get that info for everyone. Maybe save some people some time. I'm just going to, let me go back to their investor relations and just get it straight from there. Okay, let me find it okay, it's right here on the homepage. So DLO's, I'll keep DLO's price on the right. Their earnings web call is at 5 p.m. Eastern. So about 20 more minutes for them. And I'll put their link to their earnings web call in the comments here. I'll throw it into Discord as well. Okay, and there was, I think my buddy Blue Brain wanted me to look at Serve Robotics. Yeah, I definitely want to look at that. All right, so since we got the earnings reactions for Cisco and DLO, and we got why the reactions were the way they were, so we got all the data and all that, and we know when their web calls are and everything. And Rudel, I do see your question. I'll get you in just a second, my brother. Blue Brain asked about Serve Robotics when the stream literally started. So let me hit him, look at Serve Robotics, and then we'll you said Playboy has earnings? Yeah, we'll take a look at that. So let's check out Serve. Look at Cisco, just made another after hours high. They're really flying right now. Good for them. Let's look at Serve. Okay, Serve's kind of all over the place too. Serve got a negative reaction. They're down over 5% right now. Only 55 cents a share, so I guess not too bad, but on a percentage looking, it's down almost 5% now. So let's see what Serve Robotics data was and just kind of see what happened there. We're done with DLO and Cisco for now. And then I'll check out Playboy for Rudel Trade over here on the Discord. Okay, so Serve, just from looking at it from a glance, doesn't look too good. They double missed So they missed EPS and they missed revenue. Compared to other companies, they don't really make a lot of revenue. 691,000. One of my companies over here in Florida has done revenue that high before. Yeah, that's not a lot of revenue for someone listed on the exchange. But anyways, EPS got hammered year over year, down 170%. Silver lining is their revenues up year over year. So I suppose that can be looked at positively. EPS getting kind of hammered, and they did double miss the forecast. So just kind of a little summary on Serve. It does look like there were some dip buyers. Look, it's already retraced a bit. You could just kind of look at some levels real quick and see where we're at. It's dealing with the 50% retrace right now, which is right around $10 a share, what I'd call that. So 25% retrace, definitely don't want it going below there again. That's around $9.65. But you can kind of see what's going on here with the price. Kind of spotty price action a little bit. This is a 1 minute chart. But I'd say $10. For the bulls, it'd be nice if Serve, can stay over 10. It did break below 10 and kind of hit the low 9s. Looks like there were some dip buyers. If it can stay above 10, that's going to be promising going into tomorrow. Cisco still off to the races. Wowzers. Look at that. I'm just going to get rid of this fib because it's just flying. Look at that price action on Cisco. Congratulations to the Cisco bulls, for sure. All right, and Rural Trade was asking about Playboy. Is that ticker symbol play? I didn't know that was Playboy. Oh, okay, it's PLBY. I see it right here. Okay, I didn't even know Playboy had a stock. Jeez, yeah, it looks like a penny stock. So, I don't really trade penny stocks. So you just got to be careful with penny stocks. I mean, let me pull up the price real quick because these things can really, really hurt you if you don't have good risk management. What's the ticker on that thing? Pop-ups. Hold on. PLBY. Let's see. PLBY. I mean, I don't even know why Playboy's even still listed. I mean, I get the magazine they had for decades. I mean, everything's online, right? You don't need the magazine anymore. So that's probably why Playboy's the penny stock now. But yeah, I mean, look at that. They just fell off a cliff. Got to be careful with Playboy. They are a little green. They're up 11%. Maybe they're doing something different, going after, maybe they're creating more revenue streams somehow. So yeah, they are up a little bit, trading on very, very low volume, only 429,000 volume today. They didn't even get 1 million volume. But you got to be careful, even with the positive move in the after hours. I mean, they're 51 cents a share away from being out of compliance. So, I mean, I'm not saying I don't trade penny stocks. I do day trade them, scalp them, get in and out quickly. But hell no, I'm not holding crap like this overnight. No offense to the person that requested me to go over this on Discord, but I've been trading for so long that I don't mess with penny stocks. You're just asking for trouble. As far as buying them as an investment and holding them for long term, my opinion, not financial advice, but my opinion, it's super risky. It's only going to take a few of these to smack you in the face, and then the market will humble you. And this, I'm just speaking in general, everyone listening, hopefully, people learn from their mistakes and realize trading penny stocks is not the way to go. I mean, I suppose there could be a small percentage of your portfolio for speculative type trades. Sure, maybe you could take a very small percentage of your capital and dabble in penny stocks a little bit. But if you're trading like I'd say even more than 10-15% of your portfolio, I think would be too much in the penny stocks. You know, I'm talking like maybe 5%, if that, maybe not even that. So yeah, I mean, I wish I had some more positive things to say about Playboy, but you know, there's a reason why they're down here in penny land after being you know, way up here. And I mean, we can take a look at the fundamentals just real quick here, and it's probably going to prove a lot of what I'm saying. PBLY. Oh wait, did I type that in wrong? PLBY, excuse me. PLBY. Yeah, let's take a deep dive into their financials. I mean, it is getting a positive move. You know, I can't hate on it too much. Investors are taking the data positively. It's up 12%, but I mean, you just got to be careful going into this earnings. Very negative EPS. Financial. Yeah, I mean, they haven't pulled a profit in 5 quarters. Let's look at the annual basis. Geez, I mean, they haven't pulled a profit in 5 years. So, you know, and there's, again, this is my opinion. So maybe someone's got a thesis on Playboy and a plan. More power to you. I wouldn't touch this thing with the 10-foot pole, except outside. Maybe I'd day trade it on some momentum, possibly. But just, you know, I've been trading almost 10 years now, and after a certain amount of time, you just get to the point where you know you got to do the DD. You should probably only be trading profitable companies. But then again, you know, it depends on your style of trading. I swing trade options, and I'm a contract writer. So fundamentals are very, very important for me. You know, EPS, positive PE ratio. I'd like to see positive net income on a consistent basis. I'd like to see debt declining and assets going up, which would mean the debt to asset ratio getting lower. And, you know, I'd like to see a good cash and equivalent position. You know, I have like a little checklist of fundamentals before I even think about swing trading a stock with options. It's got to meet my checklist or I'm not touching it. You know, and that's just kind of what it's what I've learned over the years. Now, maybe all you do is day trade. You know, I know people that's what they do. They don't care about swing trading. They'd rather not hold anything overnight. Kind of a way of limiting risk as well, not holding anything overnight. And, you know, they trade the first couple hours in the morning and they're done for the day. And that's their bread and butter. That's just not me, though. You know, my bread and butter is I'm a contract writer. Most of my trades are sell to open. So I'm on the selling side of the opening transaction. And it's very important if you're a contract writer that you're trading stocks you don't mind owning in case of assignment. And the stocks that you don't mind owning, in my opinion, should have good fundamentals and good financials, because when you get to the day where you get assigned stock, you got to be okay holding that for a little bit and maybe rinse and repeating some covered calls on it or something. But, you know, so everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own styles and ways that they trade. I'm just kind of explaining what works for me based on the way I trade. Me personally, I would never swing trade Playboy, ever. They haven't pulled a profit in 5 years. Sure, you might see an article every now and then that they're trying something new or doing something different. Well, that's all great. Prove it to me in the earnings cycle. You know, prove it to me on one of these quarterly reports. And so far, you know, I haven't checked the data from the earnings they just released just now, but leading up to this earnings, it's like a boat with a hole in it and taking on water the past 5 years, you know. So Just my opinion. I'm not going to go over much more on Playboy. It's just not something I would trade personally. But if you did happen to have shares of Playboy in the low $1 range, then you should be up quite a bit right now. And if it was me, I'd be looking at taking profit in after hours on this if it was me, because I just don't play with penny stocks. This whole gain that it's up 13.9% right now, that this could all evaporate by tomorrow. And that's just the nature of penny stocks. That's just how they act. There could be no rhyme or reason. They could have positive earnings and have an initial positive reaction, and come tomorrow, it all could be erased. That's just how penny stocks behave. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. Hedge funds that do a lot of shorting, they specifically go after penny stocks that pump, because they know they're gonna get hammered again. So you're up against a lot trying to trade penny stocks. So you just need to be careful and just have your risk management in check. But yeah, other than that, it's been about an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. Again, great turnout today. It was awesome hanging out with everyone. My name's TheSwingingBull with PB Alerts. If you're looking for a new home, check us out in the Discord. You can even join for free. You know, I say this all the time. I'm not really here to sell you anything. Of course, we do have products like coaching and premium subscription, stuff like that. But look, you could just join the free. Doesn't cost a penny. See how you like it. Tag me in the chat. I'll come by and talk with you, and we can chat for a little bit. And also, if you're looking for some free trade setups, like free trade alerts that can be emailed to you every morning, check the link in the description. It's the very first link. If you sign up for that, it doesn't cost anything. You don't need a card or anything like that. You just total free sign up, and you can get 4 trade setups delivered to your inbox every morning. So that's pretty good. I always love free stuff, right? But yeah, other than that, my name's TheSwingingBull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. If you enjoyed the content, I am trying to build my X presence. There's a link in the description that'll take you to my X page. If you want to give me a follow, I put a lot of content on there as well. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.